Tonight, what really happened? Oscar Pistorius says he didn't mean to kill his girlfriend. Prosecutors say it was cold-blooded murder. Now I'll ask his track rival and friend, what could have possibly gone so terribly wrong? Blake Leeper is a US Paralympian who competed against Pistorius in 5 races in London this past summer in the 400-metre individual. Pistorius took the gold and Leeper was right behind him with silver, and Blake Leeper joins me now. Blake, thank you so much for joining me. I would imagine everyone in the world of Paralympics, and indeed Olympians all over the world, are all in a sense of complete and utter shock. What is your reaction to what's happened?
Yes, thanks for having me. Like you said, complete shock. Knowing Oscar and competing with him for the past 3 years, this is something that I wouldn't relate him to. So when I heard the allegations and I heard him in this situation, I was in complete shock. I truly was.
You've described Oscar as a role model, a mentor, an inspiration, and a brother. Do you still feel the same way, given everything we now know?
Yes, because I can only relate to the times I spent with him. And the times I spent with him, he went on his way to help me out. And even though we was competitors, he understood what the biggest mission was, and that was bringing awareness for disability of people around the world. And he helped me out, and he's the reason why I'm here today. He's the reason why he's inspired me to want to compete and to compete on a high level to get to the Paralympic Games.
I interviewed Oscar about 3 months ago. It was, I think, the last interview he did really for any television of any substance. He was very charming. He was very softly spoken, very polite. But I did remind him at one stage about the blow-up at the London Paralympics when he lost to a runner who had the longer blades. And his behaviour, frankly, trackside, was explosive and pretty unpleasant. And this is what he said by way of response. Now, here's what's interesting about you, because you seem such a lovely guy. You're polite, you're charming, you're the poster boy now for running around the world. And yet there was a little moment, a little flash, Oscar, in the Paralympics when you lost in the 400, I think it was, to this Brazilian wonder guy. And he had, 200 was it? And he had longer blades than you. And afterwards, in the trackside interview, you went absolutely tonto, basically saying the same stuff about him that Michael Johnson says about you.
No, it's very different. I mean, I agree. You know, it wasn't maybe the right time. I think I'm still learning, and I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot more lessons throughout my life.
I had to give you a bit of stick on Twitter for that outburst.
I saw that. It's okay. It's all right. We all make mistakes.
I mean, it was an extraordinarily different Oscar Pistorius that I interviewed to the one that we saw blow up trackside. What it told me was he was a ferocious competitor, but that also he had a temper. Were you aware of that side of him? Or were you surprised when you saw that trackside interview?
To be honest, I was surprised. But you got to understand that it was high emotions, you know, on a competitive nature. And he's a really competitive person. I mean, this shows that regardless if it was the Olympics or the Paralympics, that he really still wanted to win. So that just shows that he was a very, very extremely competitive person. And emotions was running high. You know, understand, running 200 meters and then giving it all you got, oxygen level doesn't get to your brain as quick as possible. So, I mean, I kind of understand where he was coming from, being upset. And just people got to realize that he just loves to win, he loves to compete. And the fact that he showed emotion means how bad he really loved to compete, even at the Paralympic Games.
I mean, it also showed a volatility, though, that many wouldn't assume existed if you just interviewed Oscar as I did. He seemed so mild-mannered in every way. But it showed me that he did have a temper to him, and there may be another side to him. We now know a lot about his kind of adrenaline kicks, whether it was driving cars at high speed or owning guns at home and so on. I mean, did you feel you knew the real Oscar, or did he keep himself pretty close?
For me, I just know him on a competitive nature, and that was on the track. And when I see him on the track, I never associate him as him having a bad temper or on that type of nature, to be honest with you. So when I did see that, yeah, I was shocked. But just being briefly with him, I never seen him on that type of capacity.
Would you be very shocked if it turned out that Oscar himself had been abusing steroids?
Yes, I would. Like you said, they're allegations, so we don't know, and I don't know myself. But I know he works hard, and I know he's progressed over the years, and I know that he's a hard worker, and well, like I said, only time could tell what truly is the true story of it.
And Blake, finally, I mean, do you think that you'll ever see Oscar run again?
Personally, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what the future beholds. Only thing I can do is just pray for Oscar and pray for the victim and the victim's family. And only time can tell what will happen to the future.